You're up.
I'm ready.
Okay, I call this meeting to order at 7 o'clock p.m. Present are myself, Leslie Jones, Christine Ressler, Brittany Morrison. No guests are present. Okay, and that's it. Roll call. That's it.
Any questions on the bills?
No, I'm good.
It's a long one this week.
Right on Monday.
112 pages.
Couple
Yes.
of sessions.
All right. Any questions on the impressed?
No.
Deposits?
Nope.
CDS bills?
Everything was pretty consistent.
Yep. Okay, so the first item on our new business is the rejection of SPM Architects Inc. checks. We had 2 checks issued in November because obviously we were not anticipating having the gym floor issues that we are currently experiencing. So we had the checks issued for the invoices that they provided, but now due to all these issues that we're having with Tinley Park and Oak Forest, we're now going to recommend that the board reject the checks that we've previously issued, and once we have it straightened out, we will resubmit for an appropriate payment at a later date.
Why did we issue checks?
So we received invoices from SPM for work that was done over the summer, and we issued payment for them, just not realizing that we were going to be having all of these obviously significant issues. So we cut the checks, we held them, and we're waiting to basically see the rest of the work, see the way it was going to play out. And now that we have had all these issues, we need to reject them, basically. So,
But is SPM, is this the flooring situation?
yes, SPM is the architect that was in charge of the Tinley Park and Oak Forest floor. So now we're having all these issues. We're in a big legal dispute with them. So now we're going to basically reject their payment, let the attorneys kind of battle it out here. We don't have a resolution on it yet. So
They made a payment or we made a payment?
we issued these payments. We issued a check for 2 of their invoices that they provided, basically for the flooring work that they did. But now that we have serious issues with it and we're having all of the the flooring problems, and we still haven't, floor's still not fixed. So now we're going to reject the payment. We'll work it out with them and our attorneys, and then we'll basically resubmit for the appropriate payment at a later date.
So remind me what we rejected last month, because I thought we said that we were going to reject
It was that specific job, wasn't it?
Last month we rejected payment to Floors Inc.
to Floors Inc.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So this is what we're going to reject next week. What we'll recommend that you reject is to the architect. So we still have not come to a conclusion. We've had, and we're going to talk about the gym floor inspection that we had done yesterday, but we still do not have basically any conclusive resolution to it. So rather than pay them and hope it gets worked out, we're going to hold the payment now. We'll figure it out, and we'll work with our attorneys and everything, and then we'll basically just resubmit for the new payment, because I don't think it's not appropriate to send the payment right now when we're basically fighting with them.
Is everyone still just kind of like headstrong, like nobody's budging? And
Yeah, and now our attorneys have advised us that we should basically stop communicating with them, just because Floors Inc. attorney has been in contact with our attorneys, so we've kind of just stopped communication altogether, and obviously now we're just kind of letting the attorneys handle it. and like I said, so the next piece of this will be the gym floor inspection. So we had an actual inspector come yesterday, looked at all the floors that Floors Inc. did, and they're going to provide us with a written report of their actual findings. We had this company from Arizona flew out here just to do this. They're like the guru of gym floors. So they're going to come, or they came yesterday. They're going to provide us with basically some more conclusive evidence so we can kind of start getting a handle on it.
So
But yeah, nobody's budged.
So this is an independent person, you said?
The company
floor
that,
conditioner?
yes, it's a company called Gym Floor Inspector Inc. They're from Arizona, and they basically are the expert of the gym floor experts.
This
basically.
is out of the whole United States. We couldn't get anybody local.
No, this was the best of the best, and obviously, we need to have we did have an insurance adjuster come out and look at it, but their findings were too inconclusive to go by, basically. So we were recommended this company. We had our attorney say, yeah, do it, get some information, get the report, so we can kind of start putting.
So how much was that worth?
We paid him $3,500 for the inspection, and we're kind of hoping what's going to happen is that we'll get this report. It'll basically show that the work was not quality work. It's not our fault. So basically, we can't really say what's going to happen at this point. We have met with our attorney, and we've kind of started the process of getting to know what's actually going to happen here in the future, but we really don't have anything definitive to go by at this specific moment.
So now we're questioning the quality of all the work, not just what happened to the
Well,
section?
so what we did have them look, we had gym floors done at Bremen, Tinley, and Oak Forest.
Mm-hmm.
We had all three inspected just to check all of the work. But we're not in any disputes with the Bremen floor. We just had it done just so we could say, we looked at that one, there's no issues with it. Just wanted to have it inspected so we could actually, compare the three, basically. So what this is about is for the architect, because, we still we're still saying it's not our fault. So we're not going to be paying out people when we shouldn't be. It's not our fault. So in answer to your question, nobody has budged. It's still very, very headstrong, like you said.
How much
That was a good
time
way
are
to
we
put
going to
it.
let the lawyers, I guess, kind of duke it out, because isn't time money? And
I don't think I can say officially the time frame. There's still so many factors up in the air with it. Obviously, the floor needs to get fixed. So that was part of having this guy come out right away. We'll
Right.
get it done, get moving, start going in the right direction. But as for an actual time frame, I can't say that just because I don't think.
What was the total value of the floors that we think that are not, that we right now think are not acceptable?
Well, so we would, like I said, we rejected the payment to Floors Inc. That's what you guys rejected at the last board meeting. We are hoping that we'll either replace the floor altogether or get the floor fixed, basically, and then charge Floors Inc. for it. And that could be upwards of $150,000. We don't know. But like I said, we're not taking blame for it. So part of getting our foot in the right direction is this inspection. We can definitively say now this was craftsmanship work. This was installation problems that we had. In which case, the attorneys now have something to say. We had the expert here. He looked at it. He did his analysis of it and determined basically that this was not the district's fault and we will not be paying for it.
yeah.
But yes, it has been. It's been.
Wow.
It's been an interesting.
So we put in a proposal also to take care of the $3,500 that we spent.
Yes.
having?
Yes.
Having all this done, this is justifiable. This is the expert, the national expert in flooring.
Yep.
So,
Yes, and actually, so the owner of the company has actually told us that he's been an expert witness in other flooring disputes. This is obviously we're not the first people in the world to have this issue, and he's been the one that they've gone to and taken their opinion. So this was kind of just the first step, I think, in actually expediting the process and coming up with a solution. It's going to have to be fixed over the summer for sure. So now it's kind of like we're putting all the pieces together, and then hopefully the puzzle is completed, and we can finally get moving on getting it fixed. But yeah, it's been it's been a nightmare, I'm not gonna lie.
Right. Okay.
So like I said, the rejection of the SPM architect check, just because we don't want to make payouts and then find out it wasn't
payment. Probably just kind
right.
of promotes you're okay with it.
Exactly. So we're gonna recommend to reject that. And then this was the gym floor inspection that happened yesterday. So he really did. He came out immediately. We called them, I think, on Thursday, and he was here on Monday on a plane out here. So
this is this gym floor inspection. This is just kind of like an FYI. It's not really needed.
Right. It's not. You're not going to vote on it.
Yeah.
We just wanted to make sure that the board was aware of what was going on and where we're at. Just wanted to make sure you guys had a full update, even though there's not a whole lot left to update on. Okay, so the next piece of new business is the remaining bid items for phase 2 of the construction. The last 3 that you would need to vote on are for mass earthwork with Bisping Construction, fire protection with Central States Automatic, and Cosgrove Construction with painting. Bisping came in at $1,362,762. Central States at $417,526, and Cosgrove at $692,150. You guys have any questions on the acceptance?
No, I'm good.
So far so good. I mean, those are the accepting bids. Now those have all the specs and everything. There's because I know they're supposed to be the same specs.
Correct. Yes.
And
These were the
state standards.
Right. Correct.
And these are the ones that were bid for in January.
Yes. These were. Let's see. December 21st was fire protection.
Okay.
And then the other one, January 16th, was the painting one, actually. So yeah, and they were, like you said, these were the bid recommendations for acceptance from ARC.
Okay. And these are the ones that they feel comfortable with.
Correct. And then we do actually have one to reject. The apparent low bid from Nelson Fire Protection was submitted with a stipulation letter that did not meet the bid criteria. So it's going to be our recommendation that you reject the apparent low bid for the fire protection as non-conforming because it did not meet the bid requirements.
Can you provide more information just for my education? What was the stipulation?
So the stipulation, the bid documents provided stipulation regarding water flow for the fire protection piece of it. And the water flow needed to be determined basically by the city. This was basically the amount of water pressure that they would be able to provide.
I mean, the requirement for water pressure. We kind of had like a little education when they were presenting.
You talking about the TIF stuff?
Yeah. I was
more focused on TIF.
I'm just using that as a reference. Okay. I'm just using that as a reference.
I was trying to get my education.
We got a lot of education lately.
So Nelson Fire was actually, like I said, they were the apparent low bidder, but with their bid, they sent in this letter stating, making assumptions on the water flow that they could provide. Those water flow assumptions did not meet the requirements of the bid. So basically, we said, these are the requirements and the standards set by the city, and Nelson did not comply with those standards, basically. So the next lowest bidder did not send in a stipulation letter, didn't send, he went completely with what was provided in the bid. So
okay, and the second lowest, meaning that he or she, that company's still complying with the the requirements of the bid.
Correct.
Mhm.
It's the one that I just had up here. Central States automatic sprinklers. So this was the next lowest bidder that met all of the standards without any stipulations or any
Okay.
anything like that.
Sounds good.
And then the last piece, not sure if you had heard through the grapevine, but
Saw the email.
Hauser Izzo changed their name to Hauser Izzo Petrarca Gleason and Stillman. We need to have the board vote on their make a resolution basically on that with their new name so that they can still intervene on behalf of the district in matters of PTABs basically. So this is just an updated resolution that has their new name on it. It allows them to step in matters of property tax appeal board stuff. So the board will vote on that, and then it's just basically it's the same thing that we would have voted on before, except now it has a different name.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I found it
nothing too crazy there. And that is all I have. Do you guys have any discussion that you want to?
Did you have any discussion on that?
On the changing of the name?
On the changing.
No, I'm good. I'm perfectly good. Yeah, makes sense.
I have something that I did not have added to the original
So there's like open discussion.
But I do want to present, and I'll bring it to the board as well on Tuesday.
Okay.
I am resubmitting some information for the NSBA, along with the questions that the board had concerning travel for professional development of board members. And particularly mine, I didn't reject my the offer that I put forth, but I did look into it. The air and the hotel are different. If you want, we're going to send you a copy of it too, Christine.
Mm-hmm.
But the air travel is that I saw was $238, and then they offer a 10% discount through certain airlines. So that number might be less, 10% less than that. The hotel is for 4 days from, depending on if they approve the pre-conference or not. Thursday, arriving Thursday, the 6th, and staying until that Monday. I believe it's the 9th. That will be $636. The conference itself is a cost of $965. Equity and education I am removing from that because I found that they are offering something similar to that in April, later on in April. It's a free conference later on in April that has that piece in there. It probably won't have the same speakers that they have, but it'll be something similar but not the same. There are some other classes that I'm looking to that relate to our school district and might be a benefit. And this I will place before the board, bring before the board to see if this is what they believe a good thing of one of the good classes that pertain to our school district, and that's high poverty becoming high performing schools, and that has the amount to 20. The total cost was for the event that I estimated is $2,059, and that's not with the discounts that they offer. That's not including the discounts. That's just straightforward amount that I looked up. That's basically it. But
what were we quoting before? What was the quote before?
It was between 4,000 and 5,000, I believe, is what they had.
And you're saying you found a way to reduce it down to 2,500?
Yes, because one thing that they had that was in there was, I'm not sure what it included, but it was like the ticket was 400 and something. It was like twice
For registration?
It was 400 and something for the flight originally.
Okay.
So there was one and it's still available. I checked it again. And then they also have discounts through the airlines as well for this event, because they know a lot of people are traveling all over the world. And so they have a discount through 3 different airlines, Delta.
Yeah, if that flight was only like a $200 difference, you're telling me that you dropped it by almost 50%.
Absolutely.
By not, what are you not doing, or what is cheaper now that
It's
went
the
from
days.
5,000?
One thing is the day of travel, and then it's considered kind of like a group event because people are coming all over the world, and they're offering a discount.
No, I get that there's a discount on the flight, but the overall trip, you somehow cut off $2,500. How did you do that with only getting a $200 cheaper flight?
If you remember, originally Evelyn was on there. They had included Evelyn as well on the original, and then she had pulled out. She said, "Well, if it's going to be that amount, then we're going to pull out," and she pulled out. So for each person, it's about $2,000,
Okay.
which is the average cost. And many school districts, like this event, is almost sold out. So my thing is, like, it's almost sold out. There's 2 hotels available. This is the lesser of the 2. And according to the different policies and things that I read, is, they say, try to go with modest accommodations. So these are modest accommodations too. And not I think they tag on some kind of insurance of $200 or something like that.
So I'm not saying I don't want you to go. I'm just trying to figure out what's the difference from the first time you brought this to us to this time. If it's just $200 off of a flight,
Well, I have the answers to the questions. I'm gonna shoot.
You don't have to blow it back up. That's okay.
Okay, no
but if cost was a concern last time, if it, even because I even think at the meeting Evelyn pulled herself out right then and there.
Yeah, she did.
And so we already knew it was just going to be you, and the cost still was something of concern. That's what I'm saying. And I'm just and again, I'm just trying to help you with your argument here. If you're going to take it to the board, say like, I'm looking that you did more than just reduce your cost of your flight by $200.
Right, and then in there they included if you take this class, this class, this class, and this class. And if I'm only taking, maybe if I'm taking a pre-conference, or if I'm not taking a pre-conference, I put that in there. So that's like $195 for those classes. And then I added it all up, it's $2,000. They said if you take, just say if I took a whole day conference, they were putting all the possibilities in there, and maybe the max amount of what you can spend. And so I just I removed that, and I said if I do a pre-conference or whatever, then you can, you put that amount in. That's what I included in there, is maybe 1 pre-conference and a experiential visit, because I have the registration form, and it has all the expenses on there that you can spend. And so that total amount was on there of what you can spend, but I'm not asking for that. I'm asking to do maybe a pre-conference that we can, agree on what we think will be beneficial for the school district. And
I feel bad because I didn't even go through the mid-month memo. Did you give it to Bill to put in the mid-month memo?
I didn't get to put it. Give that to them now. So
I'm just saying because everyone then could have had a time to kind of regurgitate it, and but I'm not.
But they'll still have a week to look at it, and I could submit it in an email.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying not to take it.
Okay. Do you have any other questions? I mean,
well, you said you're going to address them at the board. Or
yeah, also
packet,
at the board meeting as well as in the packet. So
yeah.
I'll have them put it in the packet.
I'll read the packet when it comes out.
And the other difference is, what was it? Oh, we were also, if you remember, the reason I'm bringing it back, because it was like $5,000 or whatever, and it was the ultimate amount that you could spend. I also, at that time, we had just come, I don't even know if we went to conference at that time, or we had just come back from conference, and we didn't know what the total
I think it was in December
amount.
Or something.
Right, we didn't know what the amount that everybody spent at conference. And even with the totals, we still have, 4 something, 45?
I believe it's just under 4. I would have to double check for sure,
Okay.
but
Last
I do
time I
believe
checked
it's
with you,
just
it was
under 4.
Right at 4,000 in there.
But hang on, under 4,000 for 2018. So that means that
Is it 2018?
Right, fiscal year 2018. So from July 1, 17 to June 30, 2018.
So
the total budget
Mhm.
after payouts, I have not checked, so I do believe that it is just under 4,000 left.
So we have like
And I
roughly
can
3,000 to
confirm that.
4,000 from now until June of this year.
Correct.
To spend on board training.
Correct.
Mhm.
I'm not aware of anything else. That we can
No,
afford.
because a lot of the events, I checked the calendar
Mhm.
for IASB. There's one more between now and the calendar year.
Mhm.
It's one more, I think, meeting that they have is in March.
Mhm.
Well,
And then-
I'll be honest with you, Leslie. I think that argument's better than some of this, than you trying to balance these numbers out, or just saying that, you know, now that we've gotten the conference numbers
Mhm.
in, and you know we've been able to make whatever appropriate reimbursements.
Mhm.
You know, we have between 3,000 and 4,000 now for board training to spend before June 30th. I think.
Yeah, before June 30th. By June 30th, I think, actually on June 30th.
Yeah, because
It's
I think
it's
if
not-
you go
it's
through
not
this
June.
and you're saying, well, I knocked off $200 here, and I'm not going to take this class. It's going to go like this, and they're going to be like, mm-mm.
Yeah. So that was the other piece to it is waiting until all the submissions have been made, and we couldn't even, we would still have something in there, even if everybody went to the dinner, because I think it's only like $30 or $25 or something like that.
You still haven't submitted your receipts for the November conference, right?
You haven't done that yet?
No.
Remember your phone got, you didn't have like your
Yeah, my
other
phone got-
receipt
my
because your phone got stolen.
My phone got stolen with all the data, and they had changed all my email accounts and everything.
Are you still submitting for it? So
I'm still submit, but it's not over because I gave
Mhm.
Lori the actual form
Mhm.
with the numbers in it, but I didn't have
Okay.
the information. So I did a backup. I got my backup on there,
Okay.
and I got those printouts, and I'm gonna submit those to you. But even with that,
So
that's still not
the
even
other
like
thing too,
$160.
it wasn't just the finance. It was kind of like, what are we getting out of it, type of thing.
Right. You said
I
that.
understand that we don't know what the sessions are. I think that's what Evelyn was indicating, was that, you know, you don't know until like a week or two before who the speakers are, and that's fine. I get that, but I can't imagine that we don't know or can't see like maybe previous years' agendas or speakers to say, oh yeah, this looks really good. Like we should have been there, or this would have helped us in that case. Because I think knowing what they've talked about in the past, or what they've had, you know, discussions or panels on their past, you know, what they've done will help influence, you know, okay, well maybe there is a point, maybe we really should look into attending this or having this, because there's some topics here that we didn't even consider. Because if the agendas and the speakers mirror what we did in Chicago, or it's kind of like, well, this is really not applicable to us, we're not in this category, then, you know, again, I want to make sure that I know that we're going to get something out of it.
Well, they do have the classes. They have the general speakers, but for the specific classes, I don't have who's going to be teaching the class.
No, I'm not saying I want that for this year. I'm saying from previous years, I'm sure that we
I can get that information.
right, because
I can get that
say,
information
hey,
tomorrow
look,
and
this
have
is
it
what
sent to
they've
you.
talked about in the past. These are things that we could take advantage of, you know, and help, you know, I guess make it easier for people to make decisions on it. Because I think if we have a better understanding as to what is it exactly that they're offering that we're not getting here in Illinois for our
Right.
conference, then yeah, I can see the value in it. But if it's mirroring or if it's not applicable to our district, I'm gonna be like, well, no, I'm not gonna spend $1,000 for you to go.
That's
if
why I
it's
was
not
like,
gonna
you know,
apply
if they're
to us.
offering something for free similar to it, that's why I'm like, okay, we don't even have to worry about that. We'll put it up to the side. But as for classes, like that's what I'm saying. I'm encouraging us to reevaluate what we're doing now, because they haven't before March, they hadn't gone in 12 years.
No, I know.
They hadn't gone in 12 years, and I'm like, all these other school districts have benefited from it, and I wanted to, and you know, they sent more than one person because they did see the value in sending more than one person even.
And again,
Mhm.
what I'm saying is this is the stuff I'm asking for so that I can say yes.
Okay.
Because I want you to go if in fact there's a benefit, you know. But saying things
Absolutely.
like this school district benefited from it, well, how do you know? How do you know they benefited from going to that conference? What did they bring back from that conference that help them with their district, or what class did the board take? Because again, remember, this is a board member. Board member's not taking action. Board member's going to have to influence their superintendent and administration to take some sort of action based on something that they learned in training. So if a school district benefited because a board member attended this conference, I mean, that's money. So, tell us exactly how that happened. But general statements.
I have it all in this statement right here.
Okay.
I have it all in the statement, and then have it all the policies already outlined and everything for us, because according to even Illinois state policy, we're supposed to be engaged in these activities to increase our school board, and so we'll be informed and making informed decisions.
Oh, I agree.
And things like that. So I do have all that information, and all the information I'm going to bring it to you, or if not, put it in the packet so you all have time to look over it over the weekend.
But be careful with policy, though, because what you're saying now is, because the policy is saying this, and then the 6 of us are out of policy because we're not attending these things. I think we're still in policy because we get a lot of resources here in Illinois. We have the online classes, so I would just be cautious on how you want to use the policy in all this. Because
It's adequate. It's adequate for what I want to present.
no, I understand that, but also don't position it in a way that we look like we're out of policy because we're not attending it.
Okay.
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 It's in line with the policy because you're expanding your knowledge. I get that, yeah, but at the same time, don't make it look like we're not in policy.
Okay. I'll try to make sure that you all are presented with everything, and that because everything that we signed, at the beginning, it states that we're supposed to be engaged in the activities, and I will bring the class offerings to you, which actually, I'll bring the class offerings so you can have an opportunity to look at it. And then I'll also, as you requested, to bring some of the previous class offerings so you can see. I'm going to go back to STEM because STEM is always on the forefront, and I know for a fact that's one area that we have been up to par. We just got Project Lead the Way, which I want to, commend that effort in getting Project Lead the Way. But there has been so much grant money and funding for those areas that I believe that we're missing out on because, we're not informed to the facts of what's going on and how we can to support our staff and give Dr. Kendall the direction on what we would like to be, what we'd like to see, and how it's done. Because that's what we're supposed to do. We'll be able to influence that direction and direct him at which way to go, especially with STEM and other activities. Because I know firsthand that we're missing out so much on grants and all different opportunities because we're not up on that. We're just now getting it, and even just now getting Project Lead the Way. Project Lead the Way's been around for a long time, and talking to people that's over NSF. National Science Foundation, and the biggest part they said is the communication is that we're not getting it, so we don't know which way to direct it.
Well, and at the same time, I think just as a recommendation, because I'm thinking like if I were to go to something like this, I think you need to sit down with your administrators, Corey, Brittany, and Terry, and say, what is it that we need, or what is it that you feel we're not getting, so you know exactly what to look for. Because what I don't want to happen, what I kind of hear you doing is you're going to go there, get all this information, oh my God, we don't have this, oh my God, we don't have that, and oh my God, we don't have this, and you're going to come back, and then you're going to disperse all this information, and nothing's going to, in our eyes, it will appear as though nothing happened with it, but really at the end of the day, it's like, well, we've already tried that, or no, that's not what we need more of this funding versus that funding. So, I don't want you to go there just try and grabbing all the pamphlets and all the information in the world without talking to them first to see what they've done and what is it that they're actually needing, or what maybe they need more information of, before you go out there and do something like that. Because
that's not the way it works.
I'm sure there's a lot of stuff you guys do that we have no idea of, or a lot of research you guys do. So I just want to make sure that you're going there with a targeted approach as to what kind of information you're getting.
Yeah, that's exactly why I'm saying this is the area that I know that we're. And then I'm asking you all to give your suggestions, and then we go and take, because what I don't want to do is go all the way out there, and because you can have this happen too. It's happened with this has been a pitfall, is they get so much information, they want to put it all to use, and you can't put it all to use, and you overcrowd the administration, the teachers, and everything like that. And you have too much. They say you can't have too much, but the way that we apply it, we don't want to just send the floodgates. But let's make out a plan of how we're going to use this and when we're going to use this information. Yeah. So I've seen that too. That happen, but.
I remember my first conference, I came back with binders for Tom.
I'm sure he loved that.
Like, Tom, school board financing.
I'm good right now.
I'm sure he read every piece of it.
I'm sure
Don't worry.
He took it with him too, I know.
I'm sure he did.
Some things you just have to experience, and I just can't say that enough. You really have to experience it, and I don't think that 70, like people from, 40, I think they said 40-something different states, it's close to 50 different states in the United States, are all here at one place to get all this wealth of knowledge. And it can be overwhelming if you don't have a direction, if you don't have a specific purpose. So that's what I do with conferences. I go and I say, okay, I've taken this, or this is what applies to our district. I go gather that information, and I'll use I'll use at our local conference, for example, Decision Ed. When I went to the conference and went to the vendors, I was looking for a filter to help educators, administration, teachers, staff, to be able to filter information.
Why were you doing that?
Because I had experienced it myself. Because I saw that data was.
How did you experience Decision Ed?
How did I I experienced the problem that Decision Ed solved.
How?
Okay, when I worked for another elementary school district, and we needed data, we needed information, and I was to 7 o'clock one night doing all the figures and doing the pre-test, the post-test, and the test, and all this stuff, and putting all these figures together, and then about time you get those figures together and finding out the information to help the child out, you're already halfway through the school year. Okay. Or you're already so far ahead, to go back now is just a problem. Plus we were getting to the point of and I saw that was a potential problem from what I heard here in the finance. We were talking about one night, I believe the subject was a consultant coming in. To pay a consultant to come in was $200,000 to tell you what your school district's like and to filter all this information. About that time, it's another school year. Okay, this is what you need to do for this set of students, and it's another school year.
I think your heart's in the right place. I think you have to remember to stay in your lane.
I am staying in my lane. This is something that we need.
That is in the weeds, Leslie. That is like. You might as well just pop up a classroom and be a teacher with them. You are in the weeds.
I'm not in the weeds. I'm not, because this is
the mere fact that you know all that.
This is something that our school district needed. I heard it I was at the finance meeting and at the teaching and learning meeting. We were talking about information and how do we quickly turn around and filter and find out what students needed, what their specific need was. Mm-hmm. So that's not being in the weeds.
When you're getting into the intricacies of these tools,
that's not micromanaging.
I'm not saying micromanaging. I'm saying that you're really. I mean, like I said, your heart's in a good place. Like, kudos to you that you know this tool so well that you can go in there and ask them these questions. But again, when I'm thinking of you are a board member going to a conference, you are getting stuff to benefit the board, the oversight of the district, the oversight of how money's being spent, the oversight of how we're, are we?
Well, and that helped it all. When she gave me this disc,
I'm not saying what you're doing is not helping somebody or something. I'm sure it absolutely did, but again, I just that's very much in the weeds, mm-hmm. and I'm looking at again. You're going as a board member.
I'm a board member.
You're going as a board member representing the 7 of us or the 6 of us.
Yes, and when I see
and you're getting information pertaining to the oversight of the district. The oversight. You're overseeing a district. Your governance. Governance oversees. Governance doesn't play with the tools and get things like that.
Well, that's why they have it there is so you can bring it to your board.
There's a whole lot of things they have there.
They have a lot of things, and the vendors are there so you can see it. And invest and bring it to your board.
I'm just helping you as to what I'm looking for in a conference. I'm not telling you that what you're doing is wrong or bad by no means. I think, I think you're got some great information, but just from what I'm expecting from us as board members when we go to conferences, that's what I'm looking for.
Okay, so you don't believe you do or don't believe we should go to the vendors and see what
just to make ourselves aware. I mean, there's nothing wrong with making ourselves aware, but I'm not going to go sit with the sprinkler vendor and have him teach me the ins and outs of the sprinkler and like that and be like, oh.
No. So what we
let me bring this back to Terry because I want us to do an analysis now on our sprinklers.
No. So what we're expected to do is when we see these vendors, we say, hey, Bill, or board, what do you think about this being in the school district? Do you think this is beneficial? They say, oh yeah, that was great. That's what we're looking for. That's what we need. And that's exactly what happened. Is we saw it, and the board also saw it, and they saw it was great benefit. And it's been
Decision Ed?
Yeah. And it's been wonderful.
Yeah, that's totally on board with that.
So that's why I used it as a one example.
Girl, you're talking about filtering reports. I'm fine with the song.
Okay, you're talking about value and seeing how this valuable and what value we bring to the school district. I'm telling you, we're saving $200,000 what they used to spend.
Take your proposal, Leslie. I will be more than happy to read it and provide.
I'm trying to show you that $200,000, and I'm trying to show you that
you say the district $200,000 by working with this vendor on how to filter reports.
I didn't work with the vendor.
You sat here.
I didn't work with the vendor.
You sat here and said your issue was, I tried to filter and there was a problem.
You asked me how did I know to look for that, right?
Because you had a specific issue with Decision Ed.
I said I had a specific issue, and I knew that data. I knew that data was coming up as an issue that we would have to prove ourselves data through going to conferences, through talking to.
Are you telling me that you brought Decision Ed to the district?
I did. I brought it to Bill and Corey. I said, "What do you think about this for the district?" I gave them the disc. I sure did.
Congratulations! That's awesome.
I mean, you could ask them, just say, "Hey, I brought it." I said, "What do you think about this?" And I was so excited. I said, "This could help us I can see where this could help us tremendously. Mm-hmm. Do you see that there's value in this particular one?" Because there was other companies and they were predictors. They were not filters. They were predictors. They said, okay, this student is going to achieve at this level, blah, blah, blah. They didn't take the information that the teachers enter into Power School and all this kind of stuff and boom, boom.
Well, that's the stuff you should be sharing.
I did. I do.
No, you did not last week. The last month when I was asking about how does this benefit, that was not something that came like, oh, I went to a conference, I learned all about Decision Ed, and like, bam, now we're using it, and we're like rock stars now.
Yeah, so.
But you didn't say that. Like, why wouldn't you say that? Okay.
I wasn't doing that at that particular time, but Decision Ed, yeah.
Okay.
And there's so many things that was at the state the national conference too. So I'll explain it more in detail later.
Sounds good. Let's let Brittany go home.
All right. Well, announcements. The next meeting will be March 12th here, and that's all I have.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, so
if everybody not is clear and we have no more discussion, then this meeting ended at 7:40. I'm saying 7:44.
Mm-hmm.
Call this meeting to close.
All right.
It's 7:44.